Good morning, everyone. Today is Wednesday, November 1st, the day after Halloween, finally. And, respect out to those parents out there, those of you that have children, because damn, it ain't easy, especially on Halloween. Busy, busy, busy. Always something, right? Anyway, guys, I just got to work, sitting in my car, and ready to go over the trades for Tesley as of yesterday, again, Halloween, Tuesday, October 31st. And as you can see on the screen, there was no activity. There was actually movement, though. There was movement of money, which does not show up on the intraday document, oddly enough. So we're going to go through that, and we're also going to discuss what we think is the final payout for October activity. Again, under the assumption of the payment that's done in November is for October 1st through October 31st. So, and also a reminder for those of you who watched my video yesterday, I did make an update to that video, which should be very helpful. But if you don't want to watch those, obviously we can go through, kind of what happened today. So as always, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. This video is for fun and entertainment as you watch me track Tesley. And we learn as we go. That is for damn sure. So one thing I wanted to think about is the synthetic, right? So what happens with that money? I always thought the premium, right, was basically part of the premium that they make from the synthetic goes towards what we get paid. But obviously, that could be the case, but it's not necessarily the case. So as you saw on the synthetic here, right, they ended up, rolling it out into a debit, right? A massive, massive debit. And we talked about this yesterday. This debit, although, we thought, okay, the NAV is going to tank. No, the NAV is already considering this debit because that sell put, that 242 million you see, that's considered in the market value in the put, because you'll see the shift in market value each day from the transactions. So that's why the NAV did not move, after they made that transaction. However, my question still is, what about the new premium that they make, right? What about when they sell a put and they buy a call, right? If it's a net premium income, what happens with that money? How does that go into the NAV? So it made me think a second to go through to the days where maybe there's a synthetic move and then no call, right? So let's look at October 3rd. They added 340 contracts to the synthetic position, and that netted them, what's it, about 750,000 per se, which ends up being around 3 cents per share. I'm sorry, no, premium change. 1 cent per share, 0.014. So all things equal, since there was no sell call and there was a synthetic addition, what happened when we compare the price? So if we go to 10.3 here, as you can see, Tesla went down 2%. Tesley went down 1.5%. So obviously it's not a one-to-one. So that premium that they made within the synthetic is added to the NAV. Because if you look, okay, the running variance, the variance is Tesley in favor of 0.5%, but ending difference is around 0.4. Again, it's not exact, but still, it just shows you kind of what could happen. I mean, what happens when they sell the synthetic? I believe it goes into actual cash, right? It goes in the cash bucket, which would increase the NAV. So if we look at another day, this was it was a good example, but not the best. Let's look at another day here. All right, so this day, October 23rd, they added 200 contracts to the synthetic, right? So as you can see, 1.1 million they made on the synthetic. Obviously, they had to buy the call for 9,600, but that's nothing. And they basically made nothing on the sell calls. So the majority of this premium change of 0.01 was from the synthetic. Okay? So let's look at the price shift for October 23rd. Tesla went up 0.04%. Tesley went up 0.17%. That's a variance of 0.13% in Tesley's favor. Now, if we add, consider the premium of 0.018, that's about 0.16%. That's almost on the money. Ending difference around 0.01, 0.02%. So yes, the question I was asking myself is, what happens to the synthetic premium that they make? And I believe, the answer is it should go into cash, so it should hit the NAV right away. Same thing with the call premium. Should go to cash, should hit the NAV right away. So the only other question outside of that is, what do they do with the synthetic premium? And we thought we were going to get paid on that. However, they probably hold back on that should things like this happen and they roll and have a massive debit. So let's keep that into consideration. One thing I also wanted to show you guys is I was looking at this, right? So the debit was about, 272 million. The synthetic, where is it? What they owed was about 272 million, right? So if we go to this handy dandy spreadsheet, I believe, what's his name? I forget. Joe Stop Loss. Sorry if I got the name wrong, but Joe Stop Loss in my Discord. Thank you very much for letting me use this. And by the way, thank you to Brian, and thank you Airborne for always helping me out as well. These guys are freaking awesome, man. I ask a question in my Discord, and someone's knowing the answer. I mean, you can't beat it. So thank you, everyone. So this guy, Joey Stop Loss here, he's tracking the treasuries and the cash. So on October 27th, there was about 906 million total in treasuries and cash. If you look at October 30th, no change on the treasuries, but that's the dent to, right, the cash. So they went in the negative for cash because they had to cover that, that closeout. So it went from 906 million to 635 million. However, the $271 million debit was already baked into the NAV because the market value of that put was there, right? When they closed out that put, that debit is gone, right? So now the decrease is now here. So the NAV, there's no change, right? That's why there's no change in the NAV outside of obviously the premium fluctuation. So again, I hope that made sense to everyone. And then obviously if we look at October 31st, they took that 271 and they sold some treasuries, and now they're cash positive. So they have 16 million cash positive. Total amount now 652 million. So that's what happened, because people were asking, how can they have negative cash? So obviously it was kind of like just a lag through a day. They weren't going to hold it that long, hold negative cash for that long, because they probably have negative interest, people to pay. So now that we're done talking about the synthetic, let's talk about what are we getting paid? What are we getting paid in November? Actually, first off, closed positions. Again, no change here. Not going to cover anything there. Active positions. Sorry, guys, I have to cover this real quick. We have 2 open positions that expire the end of the week. 207.50, which is the lowest one. It's only 3% out of the money because Tesla went up yesterday. The 220 strike, which is the majority of the contracts, that's still 9.54% out of the money, which is pretty good. And we have 3 trading days left. 30-day IV, 51.2%. Pretty good. We don't have to go through the price again. The distribution tab is pretty much useless at this point. So now, how much are we getting paid? That is the $1 million question, right? So, long story short, the income from the call premium is 49 cents for the month, and 90% payout would be 44 cents. Treasuries, if they pay monthly, is 6 cents for 100% payout or 5 cents for 90% payout. Outstanding shares, 61.2 million. So total payout, low distribution could be 44 cents, and the high could be 55 cents. Now, the yield for those, 47% or 59%. Now, I did something down here, right? So we still have 4 trading days left. And I'm assuming this big number here, this outstanding shares, right? That number will change, assuming the morning of declaration, they'll use that number of outstanding shares to calculate how much they're going to pay out per share. Again, I don't know. They could be using this number, right? They could be using this number. But let's assume they use the day before the declaration date, like the close date. So if we look at the share growth per day for the month of October, they grew 9.1 million. Because there's 22 trading days, and the average daily growth is 413,636 new outstanding shares per day. So if we take that and we say, okay, declaration is, again, close of the prior, the day prior to declaration, that's 4 days. 4 days times 413,636 is 1.6 million. So we should have 62.8 million outstanding shares by the day before declaration. And oddly enough, when I do the math, the payout is pretty much, it's identical. So it's fractional, minimal impact. So the moral of the story is retire on dividends prediction. I know, take it with a grain of salt. It is what it is. I think we're going to get paid 44 cents at the very lowest and 55 cents at the very highest. I mean, again, the high, I don't know the synthetic premium. I don't know how much they have like around, right? Obviously, they don't have a lot of cash. We know that now, right? What, they have 24 million, but I don't even know. Not much. So I'm assuming they're going to pay out probably the minimum. And people aren't going to be happy with that. Maybe if they pay 50 cents, people will be happy. But 55 cents, I mean, it's sad that that's the high, especially what we were looking at before. So I apologize. I was getting everyone's hopes up. But again, it's a learning, we're learning as we go, right? We are learning as we go. And now, guess what? Next month's spreadsheet is going to kick ass because I now know what I need to track. It's going to look a little different, which you guys may or may not like, but I'm going to put the important things that matter on there, which may save me time, which may open up my time. And by the way, someone asked me, oh, what program do you use to enter these numbers? I'm like, me, myself, and I. So I go to the website and I plug it in manually with my fingers on my phone. Everything I type in is manual, right? Obviously, I have some formulas, but everything I do is manual. And the reason is, number one, I do it on my phone. And number two, I look at every single detail. So every time I type in a number, I think for a second, okay, wow, that's great. That's bad. That doesn't look right. Something like that, right? If it's all programmed, then I don't really care, right? If I just run numbers, oh, here it is, and that's it, right? When I do it myself, I'm living it, right? I'm breathing it. This is, blood, sweat, and tears here. So anyway, guys, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but this is my thinking of the distribution to expect in November. Anywhere from 44 cents to 55. Again, I think the low is the true low, but I think the high could be better. Again, I don't know. I really don't. Nobody knows. That's the real truth. They'll do what they're gonna do. So anyway, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I gotta get into work. Long day ahead, office day. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please click like. And as per the request of the comments, I will continue to make the Tesley videos through the month of November. and then we will take it from there. Eventually, we will get to the point where we have the perfect spreadsheet, the perfect tracker, and then I will share that with the community. And then at that point, maybe we could stop doing it, and then we can move on to the Defiance funds and break them down, piece by piece by piece. And then we could perfect them, then we move on to the next. The goal is for me, well, obviously for me, yes, I have to learn what they do, how these funds work, and then I have to teach you guys how that works. So if I'm not, if I know how it works and I'm not a good teacher, obviously that does no good. But you guys are watching me as I go, which is kind of good, I think. You guys see the mistakes I make. You see anything I learn. Sometimes I learn live, right, as I'm recording. But anyway, guys, I got to go. As always, thanks again for watching, and have a great day, and happy November. Later.